He is a gig worker. He uses multiple gig apps all at the same time to maximize his earnings. But this can be difficult and dangerous while driving. Sometimes the requests come in so fast Joe can't pick and choose the best trips to take, which can result in lower pay or lower rated disruptive passengers. That was until Joe found Maximo, the automation app that helps gig workers accept and decline trip requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and rating, to determine which trips are best suited for Joe. When a trip request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will compare the trip details to Joe's filters and then determine if it should automatically accept the trip, decline the trip, or allow Joe to decide by showing the per mile and per minute rates. When a trip has been accepted, Maximo will turn off the other apps that aren't on a trip. Once Joe finishes a trip, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to reduce his stress and frustration, drive safe, and focus on the important tasks. Check out Maximo at www.maximoapp.com.
Zach, damn
it. What did I do?
You had a window open or something. Saw you move your hand.
Easy way to blame.
Yeah, it was a window.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Rodeo Roundtable. As you can see, Hannibal and Gary are not here tonight, but that's okay because we got Sergio and Zach to sit in, and this is gonna be fun. So we got Kim's Side Money Plans, of course. We got Sergio, who does Show Me the Money Club and also writes for the RiDESHARE guy. We got John Dash Theory, as always, and we got Zach Drives Fast, of course.
I don't think you can say John Dash as always. I think you can only say Kim's Side Money Plans as always.
I don't know, man. Your attendance is pretty damn good, too.
I'm a solid 80%. Don't get me wrong. Just not 100.
I mean, you're no Hannibal. You know? You're not down in that, like, super F- range.
Hey, D's get degrees, right?
Well, that means I'm an A+ then.
That would mean that, yeah.
Oh, Kim is an A+. Kim is like trying to. She never missed an episode. We all know this. Come on.
Kim is the professor.
Yeah. Iron Kim.
So before we get started, I want to give a triple hat trick shout out for birthdays. We got 3 birthdays in the community today.
Ooh.
We got DoorDasher. Happy birthday.
Oh, I have to text them.
Yeah, happy birthday.
We got Real Talk with Roy. Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Roy.
And we got Michelle Sleet from the 2 DoorDash groups, the 2 largest DoorDash groups on Facebook, 200,000 active users. Michelle, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, y'all.
Yeah. So, I thought that was pretty cool that it was all 3 of theirs. I just found out it was Nova's to add to it earlier, but I guess we'll just jump right in, you guys. So, there's a lot of articles, a lot. And I talked to you a little bit last night, like off the record kind of stuff. And there's a lot of DoorDash articles about shifting to hourly, which we've already known about anyway. But they're if you type in DoorDash in Google right now, that's all that comes up. Is in every local paper, everything. I don't know what it is. I'm sure some of it is related to the, some of the states' regulations and things that are going on, but it's crazy to me that every city right now is talking about this. And we know things go in waves, but I mean, how long has hourly been available in some markets? I know it's not everywhere, but like
it's been around for a good year. I don't have it in my market either.
I can get you a more solid answer on that in a minute. It's probably been about 6 to 8 months.
So this calendar year?
Yes.
Okay. So it wasn't okay.
It started late last year, no?
Give me a second. I'll double check. I did a video on it when it first came out. I'll pull that up.
Regardless, though, now they really seem to be pushing it. And I guess I'll go to Sergio first on this one. I know he doesn't do a ton of DoorDash, but him and I kind of feel the same way on these, just how these companies all seem to operate after a while, especially the larger ones. But so is this? Have they finally figured out the awesome, horrible number that they can pay on DoorDash, Sergio? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. I mean, well, look, let's see. For your first question, how come it's all over the news? Because they have an amazing PR department, and they're a $40 billion market cap public company. So journalists are interested, and I did like 4 interviews for all the major ones, and yeah, they have first of all, Uber. This is kind of an Uber playbook or Lyft playbook. A lot of these companies test these things, and if it's not beneficial to them, they will not go nationwide with it. And now it seems like they're going nationwide, except California and New York, obviously, because we have our own Prop 22, and New York has the minimum wage rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, they found the sweet spot. They're going to get all the DoorDash orders moved out at $12-15 an hour. I mean, that's what I said to all the journalists that interviewed me when they interviewed me. I said, "Why do you think they did it?" I go, "They did it because they want the trash out of the door." And you know, like if you're paying $15 minimum, and if you're in the middle of Idaho with a 50,000 head count and 20 restaurants, you'll be happy to take that 15.
Yeah.
Although, right, the caveat is on active hours, so you guys need to figure that out.
I feel like I want to say Sergio is being modest here. Like every major article I read about this, it said Sergio from RiDESHARE guy says like he was in every major article, like to the point where like I kept sending to them. I'm like, "Yep, you made it again. You made it again, Sergio."
It's kind of why I went to him first.
Are.
I was hoping he'd like plug himself a little. I was waiting to see if he would at all. He didn't. He just went right over it.
I know, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh no. It's not about that,
guy.
Sergio,
I know.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You were in the New York Times. You were in the LA Times. You were in the Daily. Is it the Daily News? Daily something.
Well, don't.
With the DoorDash, I was in Bloomberg, Business Insider, TechCrunch, New York Times.
Plus the Associated Press and anybody that picked it up.
Well, what happens?
I mean, you got local San Antonio papers that I pulled up that you're.
Yeah, but New York Times will write the article, and then pretty much every other newspaper will kind of copy and paste it, and then put it on theirs. They get paid that way. So
Or you just put the article into Chat AI and say, "Rewrite this for me."
Well, thanks for the plug, Kim. Much appreciated.
Can we take a moment to talk about what those articles don't address?
Please, man. I want to get the nitty gritty out on this because I think it was a big test to find where not only the sweet spot, how low is that sweet spot?
So I read one of these articles on CNN, and they passed this off like it was a fantastic thing for drivers. Like they're plugging some massive hole in the gig economy, being the uncertainty of how much you're actually going to earn. What they didn't say was they took away all transparency, the tiny little bit that we already have to take part in this. And you're the first one to get no tip orders. They made it sound like we were making a true hourly rate. At least most of these articles did. They didn't address. No, I know you didn't because you know better.
Well, the other thing, by the way, hitting on your transparency point is Nancy Luna, who's the Business Insider. She's a veteran at the Business Insider when it comes to the last mile delivery. She was at the announcement, and she asked the head of PR there, or head of marketing, who was announcing this wonderful package. They made also a big deal out of that. The consumer can tip afterwards now. They're going to make it easier, or they're going to prompt for the consumer to tip afterwards, like reminder kind of a thing, right, in the app. And then she asked a question to them, well, now can the consumer back the tip out as well, right? Just like Uber Eats, you can do whatever. And they didn't answer that question.
Well, I think you can't. I mean, again, it's Zach. You can look it up, but that's been available now for months too. The being able to add to tips,
nothing
and
is
I think
new
you can. I think you can take away.
There's nothing.
You can't take it away. You can only add.
Well,
only add. Okay.
But when he asked the question, they didn't answer that. They said, "We'll check back and get back to you." So they should have said, no, that may be in play now. Actually, taking it back out may be in play now.
So if you actually look at their website, they do allude to the fact that customers can tip bait. However, they have to contact support to do it.
See, that's
So
what I've heard in the past too.
yeah. So, and to the best of my knowledge, the driver is not out any money. DoorDash just takes the hit on it if the customer decides to be a scumbag.
I think there was nothing new in the package, man. I mean, what's
No.
new in that package?
Nothing.
It's funny because when we were reading through it, Zach and I were reading through it the other day, and I'm like, well, that's not new. That's not new. I'm like, are you seeing anything that's new? And he's like, no, I'm not seeing anything.
I feel like all eyes are on these documents now, and it's like every once in a while somebody like dusts off a line, and you're like, oh, I forgot about that, but it's not new.
It's literally them trying to figure out how they can spin a bunch of stuff and make it seem like it's brand new and fresh.
Yeah.
Well,
How can we make
and cool?
Yeah, how can we make stuff that is detrimental to our customers, drivers, and restaurants sound beneficial for everybody? Cool. Let's get a bunch of that shit together, spin it, and release it to the media.
So
Well,
why not just
further.
spend those people's time saying, hey guys, why don't you just get it organized? And
Yeah, and then they create groups like Dash or Roots that gets thousands of people to join up, and it's a smokescreen for something else.
Well, I think the biggest, like you said, Kim, the smoke screen, and I think it's all a big smoke screen for any type of legislation to say, oh, see, we have a minimum wage. You don't need this new law, or you don't need to pursue this. You don't need to pursue benefits. We pay ourselves, our people, a minimum of X, Y, and Z. Not saying that although they may have this minimum dollars per hour, you got to know those are going to be the worst dollars per mile.
You know,
they're going to give you all that stuff.
There's a saying, a really bad saying, we don't know what we don't know, right? And so if I'm a legislator looking to police the gig economy, if I see a bunch of articles saying, oh, drivers are now making a minimum wage, me as a legislator, I'm not going to step in and be like, hey, I'm going to look at, doing this for the gig workers, because my assumption is it's already been done. We're already, being executed.
So that's not even better. I can take it one step further. By just talking about it, but not really having it in every market, they're going to get even more benefit of the doubt from the general public to say, well, aren't they getting paid a minimum wage, even though it's only in 3 or 4 states or only in a limited number of locations? They're going to get credit for doing it across the nation.
Well, to add to your, point there, on top of that, our customers are going to be less likely to tip because they think we're making minimum wage.
Exactly.
They think
layers.
They think now that we're making, in my market, they're thinking we're making $15 an hour, which is,
I still believe there's some people out there who think you're making even more than that. A lot of people.
Of course. Oh, well, you know what? In the defense of good drivers everywhere, if you're doing it right, you should be making more than that.
But I mean, even the bad service ones, I think customers believe, wow, he's being paid like $30 an hour to do this. That's the job. Like, come on, man.
And it goes back to what Sergio said too about the active time. They don't say about that.
It's active hour, and it's active hour. Not only that, but once you put the propaganda out, right, and then it just it's like a wildfire. Everybody looks at it and go, "Oh, wow, look at this! How cool is that?" But ask any consumer, do you know what active hour is? They have no idea. Most journalists don't know what active hour is, let alone the consumer, right? So, I mean, look, man, these are powerful companies. They have amazing PR machines. They pay millions and millions of dollars a year to do their job, and they do their job well. It is really the David versus Goliath situation. I mean, and then once in a while you find a bone and you try to go right at it, but doesn't mean the reason, by the way, we knew there was nothing new in that package is because we're in the industry.
Right.
I mean, how many people know? I mean, how many dashers? Okay, by the way, the Harry's interview will come out hopefully tomorrow.
By the way, he's referring to Harry, the RiDESHARE guy, did an interview.
Oh, Harry
with Tony
Campbell,
Shu,
the founder of the RiDESHARE guy, with Tony Shu. Tony Shu said there's 13 million dashers. 13 million.
Crazy.
That's insane.
On their books. So you guys know.
Well, that could be since they started the platform and they just haven't deactivated it yet.
Those are all active ones, meaning they work. No joke. Well,
so active doesn't mean they've done,
Right. I was just gonna say, I wonder what active
there's
means.
so many that do 5 to 10 hours a week. So.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you listen to the interview; it's all going to be in the interview. But that goes down from making one delivery, half hour a year. That's a dasher versus a full timer.
For what it's worth, though, I wouldn't take a word that Tony Hsiu says with any grain of salt.
Well, next Wednesday is going to be fun. We're going to break down the interview, don't we?
But Zach, to what Sergio's saying, wouldn't it make more sense for him publicly to say there's less dashers? Dude, it looks horrible to say, yeah, we've got 11 million of these or 13. Like, that looks really bad.
I guess I would have to hear more of your reasoning behind that before I could draw a conclusion.
Well, because we have I don't want to name them, but everybody will guess. There's a party specifically that does not like the gig economy to begin with. They don't want to hear about 13 million people who are on this specific platform who are some of the people yelling and screaming.
Yeah, but I guess to take the opposite argument, it also shows that they're an opportunity for potentially millions of people. Mm-hmm. So, if you want to go with that argument,
your point there is even scarier, dude.
Well, right.
Yeah, we need another 13 million. Come on, guys.
Right. So, I mean, it could almost be seen, at least from my perspective, as, hey, we're, doing a lot of good things for a lot of people. Don't mess with us, please. Like, we got this figured out. And, of course, it's a company in shambles.
Yeah.
They're trying to get to that. Sounds like the phrase that pays too big to fail. Even everybody needs.
Watch, it's going to be.
There's a this or that.
It's going to be some Emron shit. Just watch.
Oh, there's money going. There's a lot of things going on there. We just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
I don't think we know a lot of what's going on. I think there's a lot of stuff that we are just not even privy to or even know what's going on. There's back deals going on. I think that there's government stuff going on that I don't think we'll ever know the extent of it, but it's a little scary.
Did you all hear about this submarine? We don't know anything, man. We don't know anything.
Not a chance.
Did that submarine even exist? I mean, I don't even know.
Wait, what submarine?
Yeah, exactly. What happened?
But okay, I know you guys talked about this a little bit last night. I am calling 100% bogus PR stunt BS. This is still DoorDash. That $10,000 gift crap can suck it. I'm sorry.
I didn't get it.
Well, I didn't get it, but I did do a video on it yesterday, and there were 2 people that commented that they actually did get the $10,000. So
2 YouTube comments that say they did means 0 did.
I also got somebody claiming they did.
I'm like, no, I think these people honestly were legit. I just don't agree with how they went about it. I mean, I'm happy for the people who won, and I think that's wonderful. And congratulations on your newfound $10,000. But 200 people,
that's my point.
How many millions of drivers did you just say? And 200
13.
people?
Yeah, I mean, what? I mean, why not make it $500 and see how far you can make that go?
So what was it? It was 10,000 for what? 200? What is that? $2 million bucks?
What was it? 100 of them? 200 of them?
200.
20 million.
20 million.
20 million. Okay. Think about. Is it?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm bad at
I'm going to trust you guys.
Okay. So
John, you should be on this. John's always fact
we're
checking
scary.
I got my calculator.
For argument's sake, let's just go with 2 million. I want you guys to think about this for a minute. How many orders could they bump up from a $2.50 base pay to $5? Right. 2 million.
Yes.
Boom. So it goes back to my crap dealing days. Don't worry. Don't worry. But think about how many orders they could pay a reasonable base pay instead of shelling out $2 million as a publicity stunt to a bunch of drivers. So maybe
anniversary, bro.
I mean, it can be their 10th anniversary, and they could do the right thing by 13 million drivers.
You know, I'm going to play the devil's advocate from now on. On every live stream I go on, I'm going to be very corporate friendly. Let's see what you guys do. Let's see.
Man, I wouldn't worry about us. I'd worry about the comment section.
You know, I need Sergio. Do you remember did DoorDash Dashers get anything like we did for RiDESHARE when they went public?
No.
Even like I guess they weren't that old. They went public fairly quickly, but.
Well, but DoorDash wasn't even DoorDash before 2009, before the pandemic, bro. So.
PaloAltoDelivery.com.
Yeah. By the way, the minimum wage is $15.05 in Minneapolis and 14 something in Portland. So,
you know, that 14 something isn't going to get you very far in Portland. I can't speak for Minneapolis.
That's gross, by the way. So you know.
Gross?
Yeah, it's gross. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's.
So I got a
that's
question.
The other thing these companies don't mention when they do these announcements. They don't mention active time and they don't mention gross.
So
I go, any journalist with their, you know, they go, what do I take my $5 an hour costs out and active time? Let's say, okay, I'm active 75% of the hour. What is that? $8 now? $6? $7? Some ridiculous thing that you just lowered yourself to. So I'm like, yeah.
So let me ask you guys this: how many hours of active time? Maybe the other way around. How many hours of drive time do you think it takes to make an hour of active time?
I think it depends where you are. I mean, and what time it is, and
day of the week.
Give me a city and a time, and I'll take my best guess.
Phoenix, Arizona. We'll say 3 in the afternoon, so like slightly after a rush.
What day of the week?
Remember, this is John's hood. This is where he lives.
3
so
hours.
He's gonna know.
3 hours. That sounds about right. That sounds about yeah. It's gonna be close. Yeah.
3 to 1. Okay.
About 3 to 1. I can see that. Yeah.
So,
it's fun. Sorry, going. Sorry.
Oh.
No, I was just gonna say I'm just gonna go back to Bobby's comment
about the 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah, about the $1,000. I'm 300 away from 10,000 deliveries, and I was thinking, I'm like, ooh, maybe I'll get a bonus. I'm like, oh no, I think once you reach 10,000 deliveries, don't you get deactivated?
No, this ain't Grubhub, you know. Grubhub, they give you all these little milestones. It take you forever to get 10,000 on Grubhub.
There's something else that I want to point out. So clearly, DoorDash was picking and choosing how they want to use their studies when they were pitching this information to the media. One of the articles that I read was talking about how the drivers in New York are making like $7.08 an hour. And I'm sorry, if you're making $7.08 an hour in New York City, you are not very good at what you do, and you need to go find something else.
I don't know where you're living in New York City for that.
On the street?
As I'm saying,
in a box?
In the car.
Yeah.
Right next to the scooter I deliver on.
So, I just found
so tightly in the
I just found it interesting how they were, so opposed to this minimum wage in New York, right? Which, don't get me wrong, like, I don't think that's a good idea either. But now, because it benefits them, they're going to turn around and they're going to quote numbers from that New York study to push this fancy new hourly pay that they're doing.
Yeah, but see how hypocritical that is. A week ago,
the prices go to waste.
They were pounding their whatever to the wall, saying that we don't want minimum wage, we don't want minimum guarantee, we don't want it's going to raise the prices and this and that. A week later, it's the best thing since sliced bread. Oh, now we have minimum wage all over the country. So it's like they played the game, bro. You got to play the game. And then I'm like, I really would like actually every gig worker to just once for 1 week really, really keep straight numbers and do not lie to themselves. Keep every single mile driven, every ounce of gas, every cent of depreciation, every cent of maintenance that goes into operating a car just for a single week, and deduct all that from their gross. I guarantee.
Or even just keep it a little easier. Even if you keep the maintenance out, because that's a broader number for the whole year. But I mean, I'm just saying, if you really want to bring them all together, make the challenge a little easier. Just let's even see because I still get people who when I ask them how much they made, or if we're in that discussion, and then they tell me the hours. What they tell me are the active hours. I'm like, bro, I need the on-app hours. I don't need the active.
But this should not be even looked at hourly. Just to look at pure profitability side, I wish every gig worker did it once, just once, and be honest with themselves.
Yep.
I bet you they'll all be shocked, because I bet you they're thinking they're making double on the net side, not the gross side, double than what they think they're making.
Yeah.
Because
I heard Sergio, I heard you make a claim on Show Me the Money Club this week. You guys were allowing callers in, and that one caller from North Carolina. She said that what did she say? She was pretty close to yours, but I was surprised, but I'm not like, oh, that's wrong or blown away. But she said, what did she say? 70 cents a mile. So she's doing rideshare, and she's like, that's what it costs.
She's got a new car, right? She's got a newer car. 70 cents a mile is pretty decent for your cost. If you're in a 21, 22, 23 car, which you shouldn't be doing rideshare with anyway.
Exactly, because I was kind of blown away by that.
Yeah, on rideshare, your mileage is going to be a lot higher than delivery, obviously. But even on DoorDash or whatever, even multi-apping, whatever you're doing, figure that out 1 week. You'll be shocked how little money you're making, how much you're actually taking home net. And most people are just doing it to pay their bills, and then at the end of 6 months, they got not much to show for it. And this is the gig economy at the moment, it is what it is. So.
This is the uplifting section of the Rodeo.
No, but it's just the reality. Look at 13 million dashers. 13 million dashers. They all think they're making money.
Yeah. No, I think everybody should be. I'm surprised when I don't even care which one you use. I don't care what mileage tracking. I don't care if you're on Stride, Everland's, Solo. I don't care. But I hope you're using something. I hope you're doing something. Pen and paper. I hope you're doing something, man.
Well, let me have one thing I'll
if you're just winging it, man, good luck.
Yeah.
I don't knowing.
They all figure out gas. Gas.
I had an old friend of mine that I used to work with back in the day find one of my videos randomly about a week ago. And he was like, hey, I just got activated on Uber. I was like, awesome, man. So he's, getting tips and tricks for my market. And so he hit me up asking a question, like using like speech to text or something while he was driving. And in the middle of him doing an order, I was like, I forgot to tell him about mileage tracking. I'm like, pull over right now and do this, like in the middle of your order. Like it is that important.
Yeah.
Like it will save your bacon.
But again, honest answers, like, okay, in the chat right now, we have 30 people watching. Okay, in the chat right now, how many people use a mileage tracker every time they go out? I like that Kim raises her hand. Kim's like me.
I do, because it tracks automatically for me. But I've forgotten in the past.
And say I have an auto tracker. Like if you need, like, if you're gonna do this seriously, part-time, full-time, I say invest in an app that auto tracks your miles, so you don't even think about it. And you just have to, like, at least with mine, you just have to swipe if it's business or swipe if it's personal. And you reconcile it at least I reconcile mine every week, but get an auto tracker, because with Stride, like when I first started, I'm like, I'm never going to remember this. And I wasn't. Like, I was so bad at remembering to start it and stop it. Get an auto tracker. Yeah.
And frequently the cost of those per year, like if you drive and forget one day that you drive like 100 miles, you just, buying that subscription for the entire year, you would have saved more money in that one day. Typically, they're so worth it.
Yeah.
The worst comes to worst. I mean, seriously, it's not about downer or upper or whatever. How about this? IRS allows you 65.5 cents. Most people take 65.5 cents at the end of the year to do their taxes. Okay, that's the standard mileage deduction. How about you drive for a week, put your money aside, figure out exactly all your miles, all of it. Right? You zero out your odometer at the end of the week. You have the number. You forget the tracker. Forget any of this. Multiply those miles by 65.5 cents. Let's see how much your net is, because that's what you're going to do on your taxes. Let's figure it out. Let's go. Yeah. I'll bet you most people will be like, huh? I'm like, yeah, it'll be exactly like
Where
that.
did it go?
Yeah.
So there's one other last thing I want to say about the DoorDash minimum wage thing is that I think the last thing is that they're setting their own minimum wage by market so that they can come in lower than all these states are setting them at, and basically save money that way. So that's the reason.
I do too. I saw the DoorDash minimum like we're all friends of Solo here, okay, but here in Denver, they do have the hourly, and the hourly on DoorDash is $2 more than the Solo guaranteed pay. That's weird, right? I don't know. That's weird to me.
So I have a question because I don't have earn by time yet in my market. Does it go by your state's minimum wage? Is that what it was? And then that's your guarantee?
I'm confused because Ellen, we all know Delivering with Ellen and Henderson.
Yeah.
She was doing some hourly. She even did a couple videos on it, and she was getting some tips even. They weren't sending her on the super long mile, no tips, which is kind of what I thought they'd do. Like, okay, now you're gonna do everything bad we want. But here, she was saying it's like X amount of dollars all the time. Here it varies. Like we have like a $2 range it can be in, depending on when it is. It's like $15.17 to like $17.27.
Well, they still have peak pay with it, and you still get the tips with it. So I can see with peak pay it having that range, but there's probably like a minimum 11 or 12, we'll say. Then maybe they have $2 peak pay, and sometimes during the busiest times of the evening. So now it's 14, but it's still plus the tips.
But
and they're going to figure. I think they're going to figure out something that you make a little bit more minimum wage, including your tips. That's what
I was going to say. I'm just thinking logically wise, it would almost have to be your state's minimum wage because then they would be under labor laws, correct? If they don't.
No, because you're not an employee. That's why.
Yeah. Right. That doesn't apply.
And guess what, guys? If California or not if anywhere goes to an employee model, not only are you screwed on that, not only will it just, and we all know what the catastrophe. But don't forget that once you're an employee, I was just thinking about this last week, was that all my years in the bar industry, don't forget as an employee, you have to claim all your tips, which will take away your paycheck.
Yeah.
So you actually will be working for free. Kind of. I mean, because if it's credit card tips, they're going to auto deduct it. Like when, wink, wink. When I was in the bar industry, I knew some people, not me, who never claimed cash tips. But you have to claim the credit cards. There's no way around it.
And so
you have to.
That's record right there.
But the other thing they said in the announcement is that they said they feel bad for their dashers who take every garbage order, like every day, auto accept kind of.
The fuck they do. Sorry, Steve.
That's what they said.
I mean, if they did, why did they do
now
it?
they said they want to take the pressure off of those dashers.
Now, no, they don't.
That's the opposite of what they're trying to do.
I think he's right. They want to take the pressure off those dashers, so they just deactivate you.
No, they will never. They will never deactivate us. They will never deactivate somebody with 100% acceptance rate. What they'll do is that now they're going to push, towards the minimum wage. Well, if you accept minimum, okay, here I take a poll amongst 5 of us. If you take by the hourly, do you think most orders that you receive are going to be basically low tip or no tip orders?
You're not going to care as much, yeah. Well, the big thing is you're going to become more.
I don't know if he's asking what are you asking, like what you think I'd get as an hourly?
If you accept the hourly, you're going to work by the hour. Let's say your hourly is $15, okay, for 1 hour.
Yep.
Is the algorithm going to send you a lot of low tip, no tip orders because you're on the hourly anyway? So get the trash out of the door because you're on the hourly. You're going to take.
That's what I assumed, but Ellen kind of was showing some different sides.
So maybe
they mix it up.
I've had a few people who started out being very pro hourly pay on DoorDash, right? The farce hourly, and as time went on, they came back and they're like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore." It got to the point where it was just like $1, $2 tips, if anything. But to answer your question, Sergio, if there's a reason that they limit how many people can be on earn by time, and they know the kind of orders that are in their system. And if the orders are beneficial for them to have drivers on earn by time, guess what? You can earn by time. But if the orders are desirable for drivers, they're going to say you can't earn by time right now because we don't have any shit in our system for you to deliver. So it really just,
that's actually the point, because you think about it. If you're giving people a bunch of good orders of tips, plus the earn by time, they're going to be paying those drivers way more than they want them to pay. I think, a big piece of that algorithm is saying, okay, earn by time is 13. We want our average earn by time driver to average out at $18 or $19 an hour. So they're going to spread those tips out to make everybody average out about $18, $19 an hour.
Right. And if done correctly, the earn by time, to your point, can actually work out to be more than base pay would have. Right. So it's not beneficial for them to have those desirable orders and drivers on earn by time. Right. So they want it one way or the other.
All right. It's ideally, they want, like Sergio said, their ideal driver is 100% acceptance rate. So earn by time, essentially for those hours, gets drivers to 90-something% acceptance rate because they can decline one order.
I think they're up to 2 now.
Okay.
Did they?
But yeah.
But that's what it started. Yeah.
I think I read it somewhere, but did they say when all this was like the earn by time was going to be rolled out to everybody? Was it mid-July? Did they give a date on it?
Yeah, no, actually, what they say by October, I think, is going to be nationwide, but they're rolling it out to many more cities now already. But I think that's October or November is going to be nationwide.
We got to expose it between now and then.
Hey, August 5th.
Well, one thing I know is never going to come to California, so I'm okay with this.
Part of the problem, though, is the fact that people don't take the time to educate themselves. They just like, oh, this is cool, and they don't get online. They don't read Reddit posts about it, like how big of a scam it is. They don't get on YouTube.
Million dashers can you reach? You know what I mean? How many of those 13 million dashers can you reach?
I would say maybe 1% to 2%.
No, 1% to 2% of 13 million is way above what you think it is. 1% to 2%. 1% of 13 million is
spread around all forms of the internet.
130,000. We cannot even reach 130,000 people. And 90% of the people on the chat or whoever watches our individual shows are all cherry pickers anyway. Are all actually veterans. They know what the heck they're doing.
So, and that's why I personally try to chat up other drivers when I'm out waiting for orders.
Yeah,
I would, if I can get that dialogue going, I can be like, why are you doing that? Like, why did you take that order? They can explain their perspective and I can correct them.
If they're open to hearing it.
If they're open to hearing it. And if not, I'm just like, fine. But I mean, all we can do is try, right? Like each and every one of us are in this to educate people.
I did that actually the other day. I ordered Uber Eats. The guy shows up with an absolute beat up 20-year-old trash car, right? Mm. And, he gives me the food. So I go, do you accept everything? He was Uber Eats ordered. And he goes, yeah, I do. I go, why? He goes, listen, this car doesn't take me much to run. It's all depreciated already. It's trash. Just put the gas in it and go. It's a tiny little car. He goes, I take everything. In California, I make $22-23 an hour. Worst comes to worst with Prop 22, right? And then he goes, why do I even, and then I do it like 10 hours on Friday and 10 hours on Saturday. I'm just going to make the most amount of money I can with whatever it is. He goes, I'm not going to sit here and wonder about this is a good one, this is a bad one. He goes, I'm out here to make money. I have 20 hours a week. I'm going to try to make 20 hours a week, period.
So with that attitude,
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, that attitude is so backwards because that assumes that every order is profitable.
Well, he's looking at 22, 23 an hour gross.
He's just trying to be active, basically.
Yep,
how much is gas in California right now in LA?
$5.
Yeah, it's about the same here. Actually, matter of fact, Sergio, we just passed you here in Washington, being the highest gas price state in the country.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so it's getting hefty again. It's hefty.
And I was complaining today because obviously Jersey Shore 4th of July weekend, and they raised the gas for 4th of July weekend, and I was complaining because it went up like 10-15 cents overnight. I'm like, darn. And now I'm thinking about my gas prices. I'm like, oh, that's nothing.
Yeah, I want to respond to Bobby's comment here real quick. He said, Zach, I tried doing it as well. Unfortunately, a lot of people love being sheep. And, that's very true. But, if we don't talk to them, we reach no one. So, like not everybody's going to be receptive to what I have to say, right? Not even everybody on YouTube is receptive to what I have to say. But, like you never know. I mean, that one person you run into, they could end up doing something completely different. And then they could tell 10 people. And, just maybe a chain reaction starts. But, but Sergio's
more than rideshare, the delivery drivers have an opportunity to speak to one another a lot.
Yeah.
Because you guys are like often just standing there all in the same place.
Yeah.
Start a discussion, man.
Yeah.
But Sergio's right. We're only going to reach a tiny percentage, a fraction of a percentage of people that actually drive. And I think that's why it's on us to be out there when we're actually driving, talking to people as well. Yeah. So, and if
80% who are, 65% who are 8 hours or less a week, okay, let's just take that out of the equation because we don't even need to reach them. Those people are just doing it for a little pocket cash to go out.
See, I disagree that we don't need to reach them because the majority of people are limited part-time. And when you factor in how many of those people are limited part-time, that's a huge percentage of the orders that get delivered.
See, so but let me just so I know a lot of people who have full-time jobs here in Denver, and then they do one of these apps. They never seem to multi-app. The people who do 1 day a week type thing, they pick a day where, they just like to go out and work for some extra cash. And it's usually just weekend money. And whenever I try and tell them important things, but I don't even hit them with the hard stuff. I'm just really basic. They're just like, dude, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's a different mindset though, from what we're talking about. So, because I can say, like, when I first started, I had a W-2 and I did DoorDash part-time. And I didn't have $1 per hour. I didn't have goals. I didn't have any of that. Like, I just was going to go out. I left the house for a couple of hours, maybe 2 hours a night, made a couple of bucks and put it in a Robinhood account. And like, that was my, like, I didn't really honestly think about, dollars for, like, you don't think about that stuff.
Yeah, you weren't doing the math. You were just like,
no, like,
cool.
You're just like, okay, I'm making a couple of extra bucks here or there. And this is my purpose of doing it. A lot of part-timers have a purpose behind it, whether it's a car payment, whether it's they're saving for a trip. Like, it's not so intense as what we think about it as, like, full-timers. Yeah. It's just a different mindset that people just don't think about, because I was that person.
Yeah, we were all there at some point. But, lastly, and for me on this subject is, if you look at the gig economy's evolution from 2012, let's say, because it's only 10 years old, from starting at RiDESHARE and all these other apps now around, I've been around, I've been on gig apps since 2015 on Uber, 2016 on Lyft, and then the other ones. This is the only time I can remember, that gig apps are an absolutely perfect side hustle for a person with a W-2.
Yeah.
Because we are at the point that if you're going to do this full time, you better be ready to put your 70, 80 hours in to make $1,200. Otherwise, you're toast. And to do that week after week after week is insanely impossible. It really is. So right now, they show you the money. They show you some bonuses on RiDESHARE. Go take their $500. Next week, because you don't care. This is complete side hustle, like absolute side hustle.
So this is Sergio. This is Derek, and he's in Tony in my market. $39 an hour on Lyft today.
Great. That's what David Risher said. Drivers make 35 active hours nationally.
There you go.
And I got a whole bunch of shit on that one. So, I mean, look, they have the data. You guys got to believe these companies at some point. I mean, you guys cannot just go willy-nilly. Oh, I didn't make 35. Yeah, but there's 2 million of you. Like last week, I drove Lyft. I made $80 on active hour. I made 7 active hours. I made $560 gross. So I'm in LA. So now you add to me 3 drivers who suck at what they do, and they only made $20 an hour, active hour. So 80, 100, 120, 140. Divide that by 4, that's $35 an hour. So all of us, I raised 3 people's average. So there's people who make the good money, and then they're raising everybody else's average. And these companies, when they put the number out, they're not going to fart it out of their butt saying to piss people off. They have the data. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Xander's been at this for a while too. He's in your market too. You guys have probably met, right?
Absolutely, man. Those are good. I grossed $3,000 on 40 hours week after week after week in 2015, 2016 with shits and giggles, and I enjoyed it. To make the same money now, you got to do 80 hours. You can still do it,
or have multiple streams of income, not just gig economy.
No, like, I'm just talking gig apps.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're gonna do this, like, there are other ways of getting other streams of income, opening up a Robinhood account and do dividend investing. You can, if you're creative, create an Etsy account that's going to get you, create t-shirts on Spreadshirt. Like, there is other ways of getting forms of income besides just the gig economy that can actually help you take some of the burden off. Yeah.
But this was just speaking to gig apps. But I need to switch. I need to shift gears here because you just hit Etsy. And I need to bring this up because I know people who do this or who used to. I don't think they do anymore. But on Etsy, on Amazon, you can go look up Uber or Lyft and find beacons and little things that look cooler than the ones that they make. If you want to buy them and like spice up your car, Amazon, Uber, and Lyft are suing a seller for rogue rideshare signs right now. And they're about to have this major breakdown on Etsy too. So if you're making Uber and Lyft signs right now, stop, halt, read the article. It's in GeekWire.
Is it because they're using the logos?
Yeah. It's also like any even like breakage of the logo though. Anything that can even be that's close enough.
I mean, it is intellectual property, so I get where the company is coming from. It's just weird that they're coming so late in the game.
That's my point, man. Why 14 years later?
If you do it up front, it's one thing, but I don't know.
I mean, I used to have a couple bootleg Uber signs. like, I don't know what that's going to solve because, to be honest, why don't they just put why don't they just have the sticker, and on the sticker have a QR code or something that people can walk up, scan, and go, oh yeah, that's my car. Like, if you're really concerned about that, do that, because people can make. I mean, I've seen people write Lyft on a piece of paper and stick it on the window, and people get in. I'm like,
it's like the Walmart version.
If you get into that car, you just.
But what if it's your car though? That's what I'm saying. Let's say it is a Lyft driver. They just don't have any beacons.
I understand why the companies are doing that though, because there's huge safety issues. Like if you're doing bar rush hour, and you have bad ideas about, doing something to a hot girl or whatever, and they're super drunk, and you put a Lyft sign on your car or Uber sign, and then have them come in. I mean, they do offer you the stickers. Okay, in delivery, you don't have stickers. In rideshare, you have the stickers, and in Lyft's case, you have something called AMP, which is a lit up thing that sits on your dashboard, which I have, but I don't use it. Yep. But you have to, under TNC rules and actually CPUC rules, you have to have on the lower right-hand corner of your front windshield an Uber sign, and on the rear left corner of your rear windshield another Uber sign. You have to have that if you're going to do rideshare. How many cars put it on? None, not that I know of. Few do. On the front, so if you buy one of these signs that looks like or let's say it just even doesn't have to be the logo, it just lit up Uber, like with that LED or something, right? Mm-hmm. And if you want to go grab a girl from a bar and super drunk at 3 a.m, you're screwed. I mean, that's again,
it just seems late to the Samantha. What was her name? Yeah. Because she was the Say My Name campaign. When Uber did this, you're going to have to say my name. Yeah. I mean, dumbest campaign. Very sorry for what happened to the female, but the campaign was ridiculous. Yeah. But I mean, like, why not? Look, in Europe, they have to wear a lanyard that has their TNC number, their picture, and it has an RF reader in there, so you're getting in the right car.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Sergio wearing a lanyard?
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Ask me even if I put the tag on my window. No, I have nothing on my car. I show up and the guy looks at me. If it's a lady, I always put my window down. I go, please go check my license plate. I forgot my sign, and then because it's pretty sticky, I don't want to take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on. I'm like, whatever.
Be honest, Sergio. Did you wear a lanyard at Herbivore?
I would love to wear that lanyard with my little, yellow.
Yeah, I mean, I would have no problem with a lanyard if it had an RF reader and solved so many problems. To be honest, these kind of simple solutions, I don't know why they don't happen. I mean, it's not like this even costs much. This is just if you're serious about safety. But speaking of safety, Uber Teen. I know it's been around for a while, and it's not a gum, you guys. It's not. It's not healthy.
Sounds so.
It sounds like a gum to me when I say it fast. Uber Teen.
Sounds creepy to me.
It sounds creepy to me too. Not gonna lie.
But it's been around for a minute. But now this week,
it sounds like a suppository.
Again, just like the DoorDash articles, it's blanketing the news. Every city, Uber Teen's launching, and it's just a toggle switch in the app.
14 cities.
I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, okay, so everybody but John that he knows of has a kid.
That he knows of.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Let's just leave it there. But would any of us let our kids in? And John, would you
No.
let if when and
Well,
if
what
you
about
have
my
a kid?
nephew? Release? Nah, not today's.
I mean, okay, but like, and I would never. I've always been opposed to this. It's one of my biggest things about rideshare. Like, and I love that they always did that. There's your alarm.
There it is.
But
2 minute
I
warning.
wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't let Max, my son, when he was 13, 14, 15. Not a chance. But now, even with him being a senior, I still don't. I still wouldn't let him. Not a chance.
No, we get to
Not gonna
17,
happen.
18. I'm like, I'll probably.
See, not,
I'd
but no,
probably
not a
revert.
chance. Only because, and my son is a lifeguard. He's built. He works out all the time. I'm not, he's fine, but it's the mental development of somebody that age. Somebody much older with an authority, like Zach's voice. I'm like a predator.
Thanks for throwing me into this
Why do you
stuff,
throw-
man. Throwing me under the
FBI,
bus,
okay.
why don't you?
Well, I'm just saying you have a very like I bet your son listens to you on a first chance.
I bet he doesn't.
I bet your son orders Uber Eats without you knowing.
No, he doesn't do that.
Well, he will now. And now that there's Uber Teen, he can do it.
No, he can't. My son doesn't have a cell phone, and he's not allowed to use mine.
Okay.
So exactly, okay, your son doesn't have a cell phone. Not a chance you're letting him go in an Uber.
No,
Not
course
a
not.
chance.
no way.
Yeah,
And I mean,
who does rideshare here other than me? Steve does,
mhm.
or did.
Xander does. He's in the chat.
No, I'm talking on the group.
Oh
here.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
Okay.
not me.
I'll talk for the rideshare part, and then you guys talk about the Uber Eats part, because they're first of all, they have to have a family account. Okay. Once the family account is established, then the teen between 13 and 17 can order a trip or Uber Eats. 1, 2. The second they order it, the teen, the parent is going to get a text message saying that your teen is ordering Uber Eats or your teen is ordering a trip.
Mhm.
There is no safety guard as far as the parent now going back to the Uber system and sending a text back saying okay or yes or something. Once the text goes to the parent may miss that text. What if it's 3 a.m. and the parent is asleep and the 15-year-old with the wild hormones wants to have a party? Okay.
Yeah.
So they can order that trip. I don't want any 13 to 17-year-old in my car at 3 a.m. There is no curfew on the rideshare side. None of this is there in the app. None. So most of us at 2 a.m. are sleeping, or when we do sleep, would have our phone on either vibrate or off. The teen decides to go out at 2 a.m. Great. They order the trip. Text goes to the parent. Uber is out of the loop because we sent a text. But there is no response to the system saying that it's okay for my teen to order the trip or it's okay for my teen to order Uber Eats. Now the teen is in a car. We also discovered in the small print that the teen now can turn that trip into a teen pool trip.
Yes.
Meaning they can go pick up a whole bunch of other teenagers with multiple stops on that trip.
It's like a
Without
mother's
their
worst
parents
nightmare.
knowing what the fuck is going on. Excuse my language. Without their parents knowing what's going on. Can you
Better
imagine
hope that the driver doesn't have a deep voice, Steve.
Yeah, driver has no idea what's going on now. And lastly, on the Uber rideshare side, the friends who are going to come in the car, now the driver has to revert back to the terms of service and make sure that those friends that are getting picked up along the route to a rave or whatever are between the ages of 13 and 17. So the original order doesn't have to be, and the parent doesn't have to get back to Uber systems. The teen is in the car at 3 a.m, and then the teen decides, well, now add a stop on the trip. Let's go pick up Bobby.
Or add
a
4
stop. Let's
stops.
go pick up Jenna.
Yeah.
I feel like their
Huge
slogan would be
problem.
great for teens, horrible for parents. Uber teens.
Well, but I think
I feel like it's like a
Sergio just hit
mom's
on
worst
something
nightmare.
that Sergio.
Where's
just
the
hit on
curfew?
something-
How about curfew? How about Uber says systems are not going to accept Uber teen orders after midnight? or something.
How about it just says we, like always, we don't accept Uber Teen?
No, or
I mean,
Uber systems could be easily set up for the parent to send a text message back because the teen doesn't have the parent's
that's
phone.
what I was going to say. I fully agree.
And say,
with you.
send a message back, yes, or okay, or something, and then the teen can order the trip or the food.
Look, that seems like the simplest integration, and why wouldn't I have the control? First of all, I'm not going to let my kid, but if I did, I would want to be able to say, okay, I'm approving that before it's even able to be done. But obviously, Uber knows how easy that is. This is how badly they want money. They don't care.
Well, it's very smart on their part because it's a huge demographic, right? Most of these teens are not even going to be car owners. And when they turn 18, they're automatically going to be adult users of Uber, and they're going to be on the Uber ecosystem from the 13-year-old all the way to 18 until they turn legal, rideshare passengers. Very smart on their part. But on the driver part, it's an absolute nightmare. And the biggest nightmare would be, what if a teen decides at 3 a.m, they're at their friend's house, they order $500 worth of sushi. The next day, the parent is looking, what the F? Somebody ordered $500 worth of sushi at 2 a.m, and he didn't even have to approve.
I don't like, as a parent, I mean, granted, my daughter is 6, she's not a teenager, thank God, yet. But as a parent, like, I don't like the fact that I get a notification after my son or daughter, like, you get the notification.
You get the notification before they order it. But
I thought you did it after.
No. If the phone is not available to you, you're sleeping, whatever is happening, then what?
Or if you're at work and you can't look at your phone.
Approval.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could easily put like an approval process in there that once it's approved, then order the food, then order the thing, or have a limit on how much food you can order, maybe $50 or something. None of this is there on the Uber app, right? And Uber is going like, this is the best thing since sliced bread.
It's crazy that none of that is there because there's definitely, I mean,
none of
us five could figure
is it
this
though?
out.
I mean, this is what every time we complain about something, it all comes down to the same thing. It's money.
Yeah.
I mean, Sergio just mentioned that there's not as many drivers. I actually have that stat because we've been talking about it recently. In 2017, 53%, that's big, of 16-year-olds had a driver's license. In 2022, 25%.
Exactly.
That's huge.
Uber notices that, and they're like, hey, there's 75% of the population isn't going to even drive cars.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody just the other day talking about 18-year-olds are just barely getting their learner's permits, and that was like, I got my driver's license as soon as I could at 16.
It's funny. Real quick, Justin Sane said nothing good happens after midnight. I feel like my parents said that to me growing up, like, all the time. Like, my curfew, even through like college, when I came home during college, was like midnight, because they always say nothing good happens after midnight. You have to be home. So it just like reminds me of like growing up. And now I'm thinking, I'm like, now that I'm a parent, I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Well, define good, because I ran a bar and a lot of fun things happened after midnight.
It's only good story.
I believe it was Ludacris that said, sit back and watch the women get drunk as hell so I can wake up in the morning with a story to tell.
Oh, there you go.
So I questioned Sergio or Steve, whoever wants to answer it. So with Uber Teen, like the rideshare side of it, the driver hopefully can opt out, right?
Yes.
Oh, thank gosh. Okay.
It's a toggle switch. You can opt out and then opt in the next time.
Everything starts with an opt out, just like Uber pooled it. We used to be able to select Uber Pool, which is the pool, right, over Uber X. There used to be two different preferences on my screen, because on the rideshare side you have preferences. You can select which, like delivery, package delivery, Uber X, Uber Comfort. You have all these things that you can select. Guess what they did? After 6 months of giving you the opt-out, now Uber X and Uber Pool are commingled. What do you think is going to happen in 6 months with Uber Teen? It's going to be all together. That's what they do. And
it just puts the driver in a bad spot.
Uber, I mean, there's nothing but trouble. And the problem with it is Uber just knew, first of all, if you drive enough rideshare, at morning rush hour, you're going to get a whole bunch of kids waiting for you in front of the door, literally 10, 12-year-olds, for you to take them to school, right? There's no parent. I never took them on, but I would always cancel and move on. Within a minute, there'll be idiot behind me picking a 10-year-old to take him to school in the morning. Somebody was doing it anyway. Uber said, you know what? Now we're going to give the drivers who are breaking the TOS anyway by doing these trips, we're going to give them a little bit of a comfort, because now under the terms of service, the $1 million liability insurance is covered for Uber Teen. right? You still can't do anybody below 13, you know. But
yeah, that doesn't do any good though when you've got somebody who makes a false claim, right? And what happens when that's a child?
absolutely. You know what's going to happen, bro? Let me tell you what's going to happen. There's going to be some sick puppy out there, a pedophile, that's going to pick up one of these kids at 2 a.m, a good-looking 15-year-old girl, and the shit's going to go down. And imagine that news now, right? And I know it's going to happen. They did 2 billion trips a quarter. Shit, of course it's going to happen.
I mean, I don't know if you know this, Sergio, but before Uber Teen even launched, I'm talking 5 days before, here in Aurora, we had a 15-year-old girl get raped by an Uber driver.
There you go.
And then it launches 5 days later. I mean, the news couldn't have been more imperfectly balanced. It was the biggest. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, you got the family still mourning the events coming up, and you're launching Uber Teen.
Yep. Opt out. Yeah, but I'm going to opt out if it comes to California. So
I mean, this is okay. So I was going for this. So look. In Denver's no problem. I'm from Lansing, Detroit.
Chicago, Baltimore. Go there.
I'm from Lansing, Detroit. I grew up around
Detroit.
You know, bang bang, and it's here in Denver too. I live close to Colfax, but it ain't worrisome.
Yeah, so I don't like Uber Teen. There you go.
But before we move into one last one that we got, did you see this comment?
He's full of shit, Kevin.
They get here's my take, Kevin. Again, we talk about this, but they get free press by just getting on and just blabbering about BS, man. You know, it never comes to fruition. It's like, if any of you remember, where's VTOL? By the way, VTOL was supposed to be 100% by 2023 in San Francisco. We're going to have these
octopus
electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles just landing on every roof.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was like, I don't think we're going to meet the deadline, so we have one Uber helicopter in New York.
To me, that actually sounds like, oh, DoorDash made the news. I guess we need to put something in there.
I agree.
So, okay, this last thing's a little
are my
different.
eyes going bad or what? What's happening?
I'm
just saying.
So Halo card, you know,
luck be in the air tonight.
Did you see this upgrade for the Halo car, or what's now happening in Vegas?
Halo car.
No, what's that?
Oh, is that the autonomous? They're going to come to you now?
So they're not. I don't know if you'd want to call it autonomous. It's pilot driven, but they've removed every driver from the car. So if you're in Vegas and you want to rent a car for an hour or two or the whole day or whatever, and you want to go out to, Lake Mead, or you want to just do something off the strip and you're looking to get some transportation, you can order a Halo car. And they used to have drivers that came out, and then they had somebody like Enterprise used to do, and then they'd be picked up and brought back. But now they are completely driverless. They pilot the whole thing through drivers who are sitting in a station.
Oh, okay.
So they're literally driving the car like a video game. And they drive it right to you. And when you're done, you just hit end, and wherever it is, they pilot it back home.
Oh, great. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I hate this, because I hate autonomous, but I don't know if I hate this.
So they're using a controller.
When one hits you, you will hate it really bad.
Well, or I'll be getting a lot of money from Halo.
But they're using a controller to control it remotely. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, how well does that work on submarines?
A lot of the food delivery robots are controlled by pilots.
Yeah, well, and when something goes wrong.
Well, just
I don't know. I guess I was just
mean
thinking about what
bullshit.
a pain Vegas can be, and there have been times I'm there for days doing a laser show or something, and I need a car for a couple hours. I would like this. It's pretty cool that I can just get out and go. Okay, I'm done with it. I don't even have to park it, man. I'm leaving the road.
Man.
Done.
More convenience, baby. More convenience. There you go.
Yeah, but I mean, again, this is not rideshare, guys. This is to rent a car. You are renting it for.
Who's this company? You said Halo? Halo?
Yeah, I think it's Halo.car too.
Brilliant.
But it's interesting. It's not autonomous. It's not autonomous at all.
I bet you autonomous is better than the pilot-driven one. Because you have a 2-ton machine getting controlled by a joystick. I'm like, I'm not sure about that.
What if the joystick breaks too? It doesn't go up and to the left good enough.
Imagine that.
Wait, this is inverted? What?
Sorry, I can only make right turns, man.
Oh man, that's funny, bro. Worst comes to worst, our sons have jobs. They can drive these things. You know, if they don't do anything else,
I mean, it's,
they're
what,
good at the
it's what they're
joystick.
telling the truckers they'll be doing in 5 years.
Could-
and there's definitely
could
not
you
gonna be
imagine-
enough jobs for that or any kind of call. And they say they're going to make twice as much to sit in these call centers and drive electric trucks. It's right.
Oh, okay. That's another horse before the whatever. That's like, yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know any of this is going to be any good for the country. I'm telling you this right now. For the country, I said. I didn't say for people. I said for the certain people, it'll be great. For the country, you know.
I literally believe everybody that does interviews that matter, CEOs, whatever. I think we have to have a new standard of you have to be hooked up to a lie detector during your interview.
I love that one.
You just have to be. Otherwise, you're not allowed to do
Imagine the one
interviews.
yesterday between Tony Shu and Harry. That thing would be going.
Right. And the sweat beads coming down from their head. It would just be so fun to watch, dude. I'd almost pay to watch those.
That would be great. The pay-per-view right there.
Kim, I wish we could have played the interview, the like clip from the 10,000 yesterday, because it seemed like the most disingenuous thing. Like you could see his eyes darting back and forth. Right. Like he was clearly reading a script to thank drivers. How hard is it to be like,
it is disingenuous though.
Like, yeah, but like how hard is it to be like, hey, I genuinely appreciate you guys. You guys have been on the platform the longest, and this is our way of showing you how much we appreciate you. Boom. $10,000, bitches. Like how hard would that be?
I almost see it being this kind of hard, Zach. Like he's sitting there and they actually have a speech there.
Like
say you're thankful. He's like like he can't say nice words.
He was like sitting there like a fucking gremlin, man. Like just like eyes darting all shiftily.
It was like, we want to thank you for your.
Who is this guy?
Tony Shu.
No.
See,
Dude.
it's almost like they're like,
the
sir,
interview,
speak
bro.
from
You
your
watched
heart.
the
He was
interview.
like, I've got nothing.
You watch the interview, you're gonna respect this guy. Let me tell you something.
He's like, no, I'm not. He's like,
No, I'm talking his interview talent. That's what.
yeah, he's like starting this script off like, dear peasant dashers.
Peasants.
Like try to just get it right, you know.
Dear peasants, do as I say.
Dear people that made me filthy rich.
We're taking
it's
top
probably
dasher
AI in the
status
first
away,
place.
but you still need to achieve it. We just don't want you having the title top because you're not.
There's nothing
That's
top
what I
about
expect.
top
Just come on,
dasher.
be honest, dude. Just lay it on the line like the old oligarchs did and stuff.
Shit.
Like, be honest, I really think there's something to be said about this. I think my idea about putting people in a lie detector would be genius.
I'm
talking about political too. Political debates.
Yeah.
Boom.
I'll pay to
That
watch
could be
that.
a reality show all in itself.
I'll pay to watch that.
I mean, it could kill the two-party system. If we agreed to this, it could kill the two-party system and it would make you run on your own merit.
Oh yeah.
There used to be, and I don't know whether Steve, you might. This is probably for Steve and Sergio, because I think this was like late '90s, maybe early
Calling us old.
2000s.
She's calling you old.
I know. No, like I'm calling
Well,
myself.
she's calling it from her
old,
old
too.
memory, though. So
I mean, you could have said more experience or something, you know.
There was a TV show that they took a couple and they did a lie detector test on both of them, and like they were revealing the truths of their relationship. It's like the same thing.
I heard this show. It ruined people's lives. I remember this.
It
show.
did.
It ruined people's lives. I remember that.
That was the outcome. They're asking the questions you want to know, but you really don't want to know the answer to.
You know what I want to see? I want to see DoorDash do their own like reality show where it's like Top Dasher, but like they do like the Hunger Games style. You know, just let them like duke it out for like Top Dasher. You know, forget Top Dasher. It's Top Dasher. You know, it's like people just like
Sunday.
Like
duke
cage
it
match
out,
style.
duke it out to the death, right?
The death, yeah.
Gladiators.
And then the smart ones can come in and take the good orders.
All right.
That's what I want to see.
That's an idea.
To be like American
pilot that in the
Gladiator
city.
style, or is that too old too?
Oh no, they
I
could do
remember
some
that.
gladiator shit.
Yeah. There's gonna be some like bumper car shit, bump them out of the way, tackle them in front of the restaurant. Nah, it's mine.
So just comes running up, drop kicking someone.
Before I wrap us out of here, you guys.
Come on, man. Let's wrap it up. It's only like an hour and 13 minutes. We do these things 2.5 hours. What's wrong with you?
No, dude, we're not Show Me the Money Club.
Oh, you're on the top. We're on the clock, people. Watch out.
But I want to talk about, especially because Sergio's here and because this just came to fruition. I mean, we knew it was going to happen, but I'm glad it's happening. But on August 5th, we're doing the Para Summit. It's the Para Roundtable Summit. It'll be in It'll be at the Wash Park Grill in Washington Park in Denver, Colorado. It's free for all gig workers. It's free for we have politicians coming. Sergio's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Stephanie Vigil, who wrote the legislation here in Colorado that we talk about all the time, is going to be there. We have union delegates coming. We're trying to get more political parties from both sides to tell their stories to come.
Are the sellouts coming?
What's that?
Are the sellouts coming?
I don't know. But here's the thing, dude, like I think you and I talked about this. If the sellouts don't, let's just get some of the other party from the right to explain what the viewpoint was.
Sure.
I mean, because the right will come and explain it anyway.
Like,
sure, dude, I voted for it, and they'll be open about it, and they'll say, or I voted against it. Here's why.
Okay.
And then I guess we'll just put 2 and 2. We're going to invite them, but we'll put 2 and 2 together and say, well, you just must be thinking along these lines if you committed your vote and then didn't the day of.
Sounds good to me.
I mean, I would hope they would understand that threat. Like, you guys should be there because you should want to defend this, I mean, in fact, I'm hoping Sergio's going to, I'm going to stream it. I'm hoping Sergio's going to stream it to the right. I'm hoping we all stream it. This is like an open invite stream.
Yeah.
Come in and stream it. Let's have it be everywhere.
We stream it everywhere.
Because this is a big deal, and it's not. And I don't know if it's been done before, like especially since the pandemic. We haven't gotten to a room as drivers and all these different sides and talked to somebody who wrote a piece of legislation, who's been a gig worker, who understands us.
Well, I understood the pro side. I just could not understand the not even making it to a vote, right? So if there's somebody there to explain that to me, then I'd be like,
well, I think we know it's the sellouts. I mean, they made it so it didn't even go to the floor.
Why is the question? Like, why?
Well, my guess is DoorDash or Uber or whatever.
Say one of the companies got a hold of them.
Or they're just big sponsors of their campaign.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out, because the point of a town hall is, we're not there to. I don't know about you, Sergio, but we're not gonna. It's not about arguing. It's about hearing everybody out.
No, I got enough. I mean, like, I got enough points or facts to not to debate. This is not a debate. You come talk to your piece, I talk my piece, and then everybody else decides. I mean,
yeah, exactly. That's kind of what it is. It's like, and the mic can just be passed around to anybody that wants, because. Look, everybody. If we're not all talking about all the sides, we're not going to accomplish anything. If we all agree with everything, cool, but nothing will get done. We need a room of people that don't agree with us.
Yeah. Well, also you need the legislatures who are writing these things. I'm not looking for a job or anything, but they need people from the industry to talk to before they write any other stuff, because what they write is just not good enough, and what they write brings immediate rejection from the other side. So you need to have people who literally are doing the work and know the rule, know the law, to help them write these things. Then maybe they can they're still going to get rejected anyway, but at least we'll have more of a common ground, because we really know what we're saying as drivers, and legislatures don't. They just listen to somebody, somewhere, and then they just do it. And I don't think that's good enough. That's why they're all failing. That's why it failed in Minnesota. That's why, and not in Denver. Denver, it failed because of the 2 sellouts. What was his name?
And I was just going to say to you, Sergio, you and I both know. We even both said, if this doesn't pass, what will?
I said it. Yeah.
Literally, like, dude, because this one wasn't even about money, guys. This is just about like. And I'm going to just say human rights, just human rights, dude. Like, if you're going to be doing work, look, I mean, transparency, and not just for the driver, for the customer.
Customers
Let
too.
the customers see it too.
Steve, one of our viewers contacted. I have the letter. I'll bring that letter with me. Contacted Priola's office, and his aide said that Mr. Priola was very concerned with the privacy issues of the victim, especially when it came to unjust deactivation part, right? The transparency part was wide open. I mean, there's nothing there to hurt anybody. But when it came to unjust deactivation, part of the bill, they said, we don't want to, drag the victims, okay, through court systems and things like that. We don't want them to relive the same situation if an Uber driver assaulted a woman or whatever, right? The rebuttal for that is, did you read the safety report, Uber's own safety report from 2017 to 2019, the 2019 to 21 is about to come out. The sexual assaults were exactly 50-50 on the platform. It's on their paper. 50% of the time, the driver assaulted the passenger, and 50% of the time, the passenger assaulted the driver.
Yeah,
so if you're protecting that 50%, what about the other 50% that is the driver? About that? No?
Yeah.
Because it's in their report. It's not my number. So
just so you know, when you mentioned Priola too, this is very strange to me, guys. I actually follow politics pretty closely. Call me a nerd about it. I don't know, but I actually do. I try and stay away from the crap stuff, but I try and focus in on what is important. But Priola ran here in Colorado as a Republican. He was elected as a Republican.
I heard.
He changed to a Democrat after he was elected. And I'll tell you, in all of my research of politics, I've never seen that happen. I didn't know you could do that. Like if I run as a Republican, I didn't know I could get in and go, just kidding, I came in undercover, I'm a Democrat.
Psych.
That sounds a lot like the Russian coup we had this weekend.
What is that? I mean, people are electing you based on this stupid two-party system. So, I mean, what are you doing? It almost is like Trojan horse. Like you almost just falsely brought yourself in under all these crazy pretenses, and now you're like, hey, I'm just... Or he's a Republican that's like claiming to be a Democrat, so they think they have votes they don't have. And then he pulls something like this. Priola's the one we want. Priola, you are challenged to be at August 5th.
There you go, Priola.
There you go.
We could put him in top dasher.
You will not get yelled at. Nothing. We just want to hear from you. We just want to hear from you honestly, not a 1 minute press conference with 2 radio stations that you know. None of that. Just come in. You can leave right after. We will safely escort you to and from a car. You won't be hurt. But we just want to hear from you.
Just that.
We want to hear what made you do this. And maybe there's a good reason. Maybe, heck, maybe you'll show up and explain it. And we'll go, oh. But
now I got it.
Yeah. But I mean, show up. I mean, you haven't made a lot of statements. Show up. That's all I got to say. But that's a wrap, you guys. Thank you, everybody. I want to thank Sergio and Zach for sitting in tonight. Thank Kim, obviously. Thank John. I saw John, by the way, John dropped he dropped a Walmart video today that I watched right before we started. So, new piece of content from John. Just so you guys know, I've said it before. I haven't done Spark. He got me to sign up. I'm on a waiting list. I'm normally not. I'm on Flex, Amazon Flex still, and Spark. Those are the 2 waiting lists.
Spark waiting list is known to be kind of purgatory-ish.
Yeah. But you talked me into it still a ways back. But anyway, because I wanted to stay away from it. But to this day, I'll tell you guys, and I've said it before, like if you want to, like John does some good dives. Like when I started Shipped, all my content I learned from John. Everything. I didn't even look at other channels. So he's, I mean, there's some niches that like I do a lot of curry stuff. A lot of people come to me for that. Like John's pretty good at these. Not, he's done some DoorDash stuff too. But I mean, like if you want to learn about some of the other apps, and I know Zach is always putting out amazing content. Zach's like the editor master of like I feel like of our space. You're kind of like mad editing, yeah. And I know how anal he is, and how late he'll stay up, and he doesn't sleep. He's got a kid. I get it. Kim, same thing. Kim works 24 hours a day. I call her the James Brown of the
She
gig
works like
industry.
27 hours a day.
Right. She's created hours. Yes. And then Sergio is the voice of the community in so many ways. I mean, I can't tell you. I bounce things off him in text, like all kinds of things. You're a wealth of knowledge. You're always welcome here. We love having you. And
thank you for having me. Can I ask Zach a question?
Yeah.
Do you have a date tonight, buddy?
So thanks for putting me on the spot. That was supposed to be earlier and we rescheduled.
Uh-oh.
I was
Look at us. We got priority over here.
She's probably watching this going, nice.
This is what I did.
Yeah.
She's like Control-Alt-Delete. I changed my mind.
Lose my number, loser.
Yeah, so we're hoping this weekend. So supposedly she wasn't feeling well. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt.
You guys, until next week, be safe.
Happy 4th. Happy 4th.
Oh, happy 4th
Happy
of July.
4th.
Happy birthdays to the birthday people or any birthday people that have it coming up between now and the 4th.
Yeah,
Make sure to catch. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Sergio and Chris will be on Money Hungry on Wednesday, so they'll be joining us.
Cool.
Yeah,
I was going to
Can you
say,
imagine all four of us
forget-
together? What could go wrong?
Don't forget to catch Show Me the Money Club.
No, we don't have it on Tuesday because it's on 4th of July.
Well,
so we're
okay,
taking a week off.
but on Tuesdays, not this next
on
one because of the
Tuesdays,
holiday.
yeah. But next week we'll be on with the Cincinnati Bengals punter who's doing DoorDash.
Oh yeah, nice.
And paying it forward.
The Ohio State graduate.
Nice.
Yes, I actually interviewed him right before I came on here for Behind the Wheel, which is going to be on next Thursday. But he's going to be on Show Me the Money on the 11th. But next Money Hungry, we're going to be on the kids show, as I call it. Tim called me old, anyway. So,
I am not that much younger than him. You're not much older than younger.
And we're going to dissect the Harry and Shu interview.
I think we need popcorn.
Bring your popcorn.
I think we all need
Popcorn,
popcorn.
baby. Oh, baby.
Is Harry going to be there?
Harry, no.
You should have the four of you and put Harry in the middle, but mute him. Just kidding, Harry. We all love.
What was that show?
I talked to him after I watched the video. I said, "You know what's going to happen, right?" He goes, "I know, yeah." I was like, and then he goes, "It's all right." He goes, "I'm used to it." I'm like, "Okay."
Got all four of your hosts, who are just itching at the bit to take a bite.
Okay, you have to finish with that top dasher. You know what? Your voice is great with that top dasher thing.
You want me to say it again?
Yeah.
Voice work.
Top dasher.
See, if your kid's in the back of a car, you're gonna be scared by Zach. Knock it off. You'd be like, ah! This is why Uber Teen should not exist because of Zach's voice. Everybody, thank you. Be safe. Earn smart. Have a happy holiday weekend. We'll see you back here next week.
All right.